Welcome to Inside JMS, a podcast featuring the faculty and staff of the Hank Greenspun School of Journalism and Media Studies. I'm Kevin Stoker, and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Dave Nourse.
Kevin, it's a pleasure to be next to you.
Thanks. Well, we have a great guest today. We have Ryan Thorp, or as we know him, RT. And RT is kind of our production specialist, studio guy. I mean, I think we have him doing a little bit of everything throughout. He's a little bit of a media engineer.
He is.
Bit of a, he oversees camera checkout. RT, when did you kind of first get inspired to go into video production, broadcasting?
Well, so this is a story that I've told many times, but for me, it started in 2007. I took some time off. I started as a music major here in the percussion studio in 2005. And then by 2007, I was kind of, deciding that wasn't really for me. So I just took some time off. I didn't really know what I was going to do. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I was going to come back to college at all. And then, but I was, listening to the radio at the time. It's 2007. I still do actively listen to the radio, but that's another story. But I was listening to the radio, and the station that I listened to is a local rock station, and a host who was on, he would have contests like all afternoon drive people and, or hosts. And, his thing is he would invite the winners in sometimes to come check out the studio and hang out with him. I won 2 of these. So the first one, I got to go check it out, thought it was really cool. Second time, he actually remembered me, and he threw me a microphone. So, I stayed way longer than I expected to, and I got to be on the air for the first time ever. And afterwards, I was just like, that was really cool. How do I do this forever? I want to do that forever. That was awesome. And then a little bit of research, I figured out that it was going to school for broadcasting. So where's the best place to go for that? Here in Las Vegas, and that was here in our school. So I got back into school later in 2008. I was inspired by my former wife to get back into school because that was when she was about to transfer over to UNLV, and so I came back and got started doing everything over here. I started mostly with my gen ed classes just to kind of get those out of the way, and then really focused on the production classes and broadcasting classes, journalism classes, really, probably by about 2010. So that was all over here in Greenspun Hall.
Yeah. So tell me a little more about the percussionist stuff. When did you start playing drums?
Started playing when I was 9. So I'm going on 30 years next year. So that's pretty cool. So 1996, there was a movie that came out. It was the directorial debut of a Mr. Tom Hanks. It was a movie called That Thing You Do. It was about
great movie.
A band called the Wonders, or the Oneaters as they're known at the beginning, because it's Wonders, O-N-E-Ders, but the Oneaters doesn't work. It's like, no, you're just going to be the Wonders. But the main character that they're following the entire band, but the main character they're following is the drummer. And my mom and I went to go see that in '96, and I loved that movie, and I was like, I want to be like Shades. I want to be like Shades Patterson. That was the drummer's name, and my mom saw that I was really into it, and before then I was already kind of picking up pins and chopsticks and tapping on things. So there was already something kind of there. And then seeing a drummer, and was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. So not too long after that, my mom got me into drum lessons.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So tell me about your drumming adventure.
Yeah. Man, that feels like a whole another life ago. For me, I was lucky enough to play around a lot. When I was 16, I was playing in bars when I was 16 from time to time. Not a lot, but I was, and just didn't say anything, and I wasn't drinking or anything. So I'd just come in, play the show, and then I'd leave right afterwards. But then, I was starting bands. I was in bands with in high school and everything. So that was always really fun, and I was in high school drumline, high school band, and everything. So that was all of that time, and then after after a couple years after college, started my own band, which was called A Sinner's Confession for a long time. And we were playing shows practically nonstop for the first several years. And then after a while, it just kind of fizzled out. You know, life caught up to us. I had graduated from here with my degree. I was starting to work professionally in broadcasting, and it wasn't, you know, so much into drumming as much anymore. Still into it, still love it, still have a great love for it, but just didn't have the time for it, you know. And I found a career doing something else.
When do you play now? Do you kind of have does it kind of serve more of a kind of calming influence, or what is it?
You know, just playing whenever I can. You know, I was, you know, my drums aren't fully set up at all times, but when I do have them, it's nice to be able to go sit down and just play, you know, just own the throne the way I used to.
Yeah.
RT, you have you've got a great story, because you started at UNLV. You weren't necessarily a JMS student. You kind of took some time to figure it out. You found your home at JMS. I met you when you were the president of our radio station, back when it was known as The Rebel.
Yes.
You know, you were essentially the second president of kind of this iteration of KUNV HD2. And, you know, I know that you said you still listen to the radio. You think about kind of where you were then, where you are now. You're back at UNLV. Tell us a little bit about your professional journey. You leave UNLV. You go to work for some of the television stations in town. You end up coming back. Tell us about what that experience was like. What did you do? And then kind of how did that lead you back here?
After I graduated, I was pretty lucky to almost step right into Channel 8, KLAS, the local CBS affiliate here. Over there, I was actually the same position that I have here, production specialist. But over there it was a little bit different. It was, you know, running cameras during the live productions, running teleprompter. That might be, you know, doing audio, things like that. All the way up to, like, you know, directing and TDing, like kind of all those things. So I was doing that, but I was really just mostly running cameras, doing audio, prompter, all that stuff. After a few months, they needed somebody to step up and be an editor. So I threw my my hat in the ring, and they immediately promoted me, and I was up to, you know, full time pretty much right away. So that was pretty great, because I started off, you know, part time, which was kind of difficult. You know, I was 26 at the time, so, you know, having only a part time job after I just graduated college was, like I said, difficult. Fortunately, I didn't have my kids yet. They were still a long way off. Well, maybe not that long off, but still, you know, I was able to find a career and get started, get my foot in the door. And yeah, when they needed, you know, somebody to do more work, I, you know, put my hat out there, and they taught me how to be an editor for them. I'd already had plenty of editing experience here, going to school and everything, but this was on a different program. It's a program called Edius, which is just a completely different editing software. So I got to know Edius, and I was, you know, editing their news, and I did that for just about 4 years. And it was great. It had its times. You know, we had a lot of major breaking news that was happening at the time, you know, throughout my time, excuse me. And then, you know, by 2017, I wasn't really a big fan of the culture there anymore. And that's a big thing that, you know, we definitely talk about nowadays with, you know, when you're getting hired or hiring, you know, having a good, you know, work culture. And I didn't really feel like we had that over at Channel 8. I couldn't really pinpoint as to why I felt that way. It just didn't feel that way. And plus I had also gotten, you know, I was also maybe a little bit jaded at the time, because I'd also gotten passed up for a few promotions that I felt I should have been able to get, especially one in particular where the manager told me, he's like, I'm not going to bring you in. We're going to bring back the person who left because they don't like the job that they left for, and we are going to pretend like they never left. And like, I was literally like, what? Like, what? So yeah, and I got a call in 2016, I had gotten a call on my honeymoon asking me to come into work that day. I was in Hawaii. So it was just like some management issues that I was really, really having some issues with. So by early 2017, I decided, you know, this place wasn't really for me. So I left on Inauguration Day 2017. So yeah, if you remember Inauguration Day 2017, I decided I didn't want to work there in news anymore. Yeah, so from then on, I didn't really know what to do. I had, we were kind of going off the savings for a little bit, and there was a job fair here on campus for alumni and current students and everything. So I just thought, well, hey, I'm alumni. I'll go check out the job fair. So checked out the job fair, found a few prospects, not really in broadcasting or anything like that, and then I was leaving. I was like, hey, let me go say hi to people, say hi to my old friends. I said hi to Dave. I said hi to the Frank, our former general manager of KUNV, and just kind of telling them what was going on. And I went to go talk to Jennifer Ream, the executive producer with UNLV-TV, and she said, hey, if you're in between things, I have some budget. I can pay you a little bit. So I was like, that'd be wonderful. So I got in kind of part-time. And then after a few weeks and that was in March, by April, she said, you know what, I'm going to find it in the budget to pay you full-time. I was like, great, love that. That's awesome. And that was about soon after, or not too long later, is when I met you, Kevin, and you saw my worth, and eventually you were able to bump me up into a real contract that gave me some more permanence and some benefits.
Yeah,
very helpful, because right at that time, that was when I had my son Gio. So yeah, we definitely needed that stuff. So that's how I kind of ended up here. Just showed my worth and continued to be a part of everything that we do here and be there for the students as much as possible. And that's how I ended up here. Is you saw what I was doing for all the students here, and so you're the one who gave me that real contract that actually gave me a job here.
Well, what stands out to me that I remember most about RT is when we got Fox 5 donated their set to us. We didn't have anybody. We didn't have an engineer.
We didn't know what we were doing, Kevin.
Didn't know what we were doing. That's right. And so we get it all hauled over here.
Yeah.
And who's going to set it up? Well, RT took it on himself to set that up. I came in here at night. I think even on weekend, I think I saw you working on that set. And
yeah, it was a hell of a puzzle.
Well, that's what sold me. I mean, you were willing to go the extra mile to get that set up, and now we have that great set.
Yeah, so that was donated at the tail end of 2019 from Fox 5. So I began working here in 2017, and then my ex-wife had gotten pregnant with our daughter Ava. So by 2019, it was like, hey, I kind of need a second job, second kid, right? So then I got my job working over at Fox 5 as a director. They call it a technical producer, but that's just their technical name for it, but it's a show director. So yeah, I was a TP over there, and was doing everything, and then they were saying, like, hey, we're going to be getting rid of the set. This is the plan. So I raised my hand in a production meeting. I said, what are we doing with the old set? And they were like, we don't know yet. We're probably just going to demolish it. I was like, well, UNLV has one of your old sets. Could we maybe have this one too? And that's how that whole thing got started, because I was working there, and I just happened to be in the meeting when they were like, hey, we're going to be getting rid of it. It's like, curious here.
Yeah.
So that was, I just raised my hand, because like I said, we had their previous set that they had gotten rid of for that set that they were about to get rid of. And then it was like, well, hey, let's break that one down. That one's much older. This one's a bit more modernized. So let's do that. And the production crew over at Fox 5, we were responsible for taking the entire thing apart, and well, they weren't responsible for putting it back together, so that's why it all got left on me.
Right.
By the time it was time to build the thing.
Well, I really appreciate all your work on that.
I was curious, as I'm thinking about your time as a musician and then your time working in live production, and you still work in live production, obviously. But you kind of exercise the same skill set with both. I mean, one, one you're performing, obviously, but in a live environment. And the other one, it's like you're responsible for making sure the production not only looks good, but is executed as technically flawless as possible. And you've got this great tattoo, but you've had a philosophy even before that. Don't freak out, figure it out.
Don't freak out, figure it out.
Does that come from being a musician? Does that come from being in live production? Is it a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both. So it really comes from mostly from live production. Because that's my number one rule of live production is don't freak out, figure it out. Because my number two rule is something that I'm not actually going to say, but it has something to do with number two. But yeah, don't freak out, figure it out. That's my philosophy, and it's something that I use for basically kind of anything. Like when I was, when I'm having trouble with anything, it's like, hey, don't freak out, just figure out what's the next best move to make. And yeah, it was originally related to live production and everything, because there you literally don't have time to freak out. You have to figure it out. If you're live and in the moment, there's no other thing that you can do other than figure out what you're going to do. That doesn't mean it's everything solved. That means you just know what your contingency plan is, right? So that's really kind of what it comes from. And yeah, like I have a big philosophy also that drummers make pretty good directors and broadcast professionals. And I say that because I'm a drummer. I've been playing drums for damn near 30 years. And I've met so many people in the broadcast world working here in Las Vegas. A lot of them happen to be drummers in some sort of way. So it's just like very, very coincidental. I kind of really wish I could do like an academic study on this, because it's like maybe there's something there. Yeah. But we had a student a few semesters ago who left being a blue man in the blue man group to pursue this. And it was awesome because he came to me. He was non-traditional, a little bit older, and he's like his name's Kirk, and he asked, "Hey RT, like I really want to learn directing and TDing really well. Like take me under your wing." And I'm like, that's really awesome. All right, cool, blue man. All right, let's do this, man. So I showed him everything that I possibly could, and he took to it really, really well, which just went more to my philosophy. Hey, drummers are pretty good at this, because blue men, it's all about playing drums. So yeah, and how you said, it's like using those same skill sets across the board is very, 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 very much what I'm doing as a director, because there's so many different things that I have to look at, and drumming is all about multi-limb disciplines, and like being able to like manage all of that stuff while listening to the singer, while listening to the guitar player, while listening to the bass player, mostly the bass player. And that's the same thing for me. As a director, I got to be sure that my TD, my technical director, is making those cuts for me. Make sure the audio is sounding good. Make sure graphics are going up and they're spelled properly. All of these things. So, that just, like I said, it leads to my philosophy that drummers are pretty good at broadcasting. So yeah, and just don't freak out, figure it out. Cause it's like a performance. If you're up on stage in the middle of a performance and, something goes wrong, hey, you can't really freak out. You're in front of however many people up on stage. So yeah, don't freak out.
Dave, maybe you and I, when we do our recruiting, need to go to the band and start recruiting drummers.
I think that is a very, very wise strategy, my friend. Yeah. RT, you teach a bunch of classes for us. Mm-hmm. You teach Journalism 325, Video Production, and Journalism 2, Studio G, which is 424. And you started teaching a brand new class for us this semester, Sports and Entertainment Production, which I think is Journalism 321.
321, yep.
So you teach a lot. You've obviously worked with a lot of students over your time being here. I have two questions for you. One is, did you ever see yourself as a teacher? Because you certainly are one now. And number two, what is kind of your teaching philosophy? What can somebody expect if they walk into your classroom?
So weirdly enough, I have always kind of thought of myself as a teacher, because when I was a music major, I was actually on the music education track. So that was kind of always the plan. But looking back, like I have a really good friend from high school who he's a high school band director in somewhere outside of Salt Lake City, just one of the suburb towns, and he does a great job. I love everything that Daniel does and everything that like I see him posting on Facebook all the time and Instagram. So like he's doing great work, but I just think in hindsight, had I gone through with that, man, I'd just be miserable. Like I really would have been. So yeah, so that's why I'm really I'm glad at what I'm doing, but I had always wanted to be a teacher. So that spark was always kind of there for me. So yeah, so I definitely see myself as a teacher now because this is all I've been doing, and like I view myself as I counted in Canvas a few weeks ago. I believe this is including summer semesters that I've taught. This is the 19th semester that I've been teaching.
Oh, that's great.
So that's like wow, that's a lot. But like my philosophy is bringing in the real world. Like I have years and years and years of real world experience broadcasting, making video content of all sorts, editing, doing all sorts of different things. So that's what I bring to the classes as much as I possibly can. And no, I don't know everything, right? There are so many other experts out there. So like we utilize, good solid, videos from like, people, tutorial videos from people who have like really gone through a lot of different scenarios and things like that because, like I said, I don't know everything, but I know a lot, enough to make our students, feel very, very comfortable with what they're doing. But yeah, utilizing other external sources to help show, hey, this is how you could possibly do this, or you could possibly do it this way, or you could possibly do it this way. So I like bringing in the real world because not everybody's going to do something the same way. Right. So that's why I say in class, everybody has their own flavor. So you might edit this video this way, and you might use this B-roll to help tell the story, or you might use this soundbite to help tell the story. That doesn't mean your story is wrong and your story is right. It's just different ways of telling the story. So that's something that I definitely bring to them, especially with Journalism 325. And Studio G also. Studio G, they're doing a live production on Thursdays, and it's a small but mighty group of 8 students, but they're doing some really good high quality content. So I'm really, really impressed, and they're doing it live. They're doing an actual live production that's it's going to YouTube, so we're not able to broadcast it to an actual transmitter site to actually be on TV, but you can get YouTube on your TV and you can still watch our newscast. So it's like the same thing. They're doing a live newscast, and it's very, very impressive that the students are able to do this, after 5 weeks of just kind of training, getting ready. Week 6 is when we go live, and then it's week to week to week to week for the next 9-ish weeks, because there's always Thanksgiving, right? So that keeps us from being able to do a Thursday show. But they're able to produce their stories. They're able to find stories, produce them, and execute a live newscast weekly, which is very, very impressive. And people don't get that. Like that is like at other institutions, they don't get that. So being as real world as possible and letting them know, it's like, if you were doing this professionally, you might, do this show, and then there's another 5 o'clock show a little bit later, and maybe a 7 o'clock show, all before, reporters and anything goes home. But the directors and the production crew, they're just going from show to show to show to show. And that's the reality of it. So that's definitely what I try to bring to the table, is as much real world experiences as I possibly can.
In the last few years, you've added a new wrinkle. You've entered graduate school.
I have. I'm in my third semester, so second year of grad school right now. It's, tough keeping up with everything, not just that, but like with all the responsibilities that we have here. It's tough, but it's a great challenge to have, And studying, going to grad school here for journalism and media studies. So back in my program, which I know you guys love having alumni come through the program. But it's kind of like what I was actually just talking about with Studio G. Like my main thesis is talking about how broadcast is dying. So many times you hear people say, oh, broadcast is dying. People don't watch TV anymore. People don't do that. People don't watch broadcast TV. It's like, yeah, but that's the way that you're viewing it, right? Broadcast isn't dying. It's evolving. Right, like I just said with Studio G, we don't broadcast to an actual TV channel, right? But we do broadcast it. It's streaming. Yes, it's a live stream. I'm not going to not call it that, but that live stream is being broadcast to YouTube, which you can download YouTube or any sort of other apps. Ours is particularly YouTube. You can download that, and boom, now you can watch our newscast on your TV, just like you would be watching any other newscast through a broadcast station. Not only that, it has a further net, right? We have students that are from Washington. We have students that are from California, students that are from all over the country. They can share the link, and now their family is still watching the show in real time. So the broadcast net is generally considered only within a local viewing area or local listening area when it comes into radio. But I think broadcast is truly evolving in a way that it's a much broader net, a much broader cast, as I jokingly call it. It's the broadest cast, really. Because, I mean, you can have people watching in other countries, potentially, right? So that means your broadcast has a much, much wider net, much, much more broad. So, yeah.
Right. RT, we've heard a lot about kind of your professional journey, heard a little bit about your philosophy in the classroom and your experience as a grad student. Tell us about your kids. What do you like to do when you're not at work?
When I'm with my kids, I don't get a lot of time with them, unfortunately. But when I'm with them, man, they have my all. Like, they get 1,000% of me. My son is having a little bit of trouble with his math. He's in third grade right now. My daughter's in first, Gio and Ava. So he's having a little bit of trouble with his math. So whenever I'm talking with him on the phone, like I'm, running him through some multiplication tables, he's on the fours right now, and he's getting them pretty good. So when they're with me this weekend, I'm going to work on some math with him, work on some reading with my daughter. But other than that, we like to go to the park. We go to the indoor play places, and now it's nice enough outside that we can go hang out outside for a while. We have a dog, Cleo, who we take to the park. So we just hang out, and I've kind of resigned myself to realizing that spending time with my kids doesn't have to be expensive, right? It's let's make some sandwiches together and go to the park. Let's go walk the dog. Let's go hiking up at Mount Charleston. Right. So, rather than spending a bunch of money I mean, they don't care, they don't care. It's the time together that they cherish the most, because they're 8 and 6. Like, they don't care if it's, super expensive, super fancy. Like, they just want to do things together. So we do as much. And I think we're going to try to go hiking this weekend. We wanted to go last weekend, but we just couldn't make it. So we're going to try to go this weekend.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, typically at the end of these podcasts, RT, we ask the question, what didn't we ask you that we should have asked you?
Well, you asked me a little bit about 321, but I didn't really get into it, because that's the new class. I have a lot of cool things on the horizon for 321. So Journalism 321, that's the live sports and entertainment production class. Brand new class, 13 students are in it, which we were shocked. That it was like, hey, we got 13 in this brand new experiment class. Like, it is for all intents and purposes an experiment. They are really excited. We've had some great guest speakers. We had Trayvon Barnes, who is a professional drone pilot, and he was cool enough to actually do a short little fly through with us to show us like how he does a drone production, small scale drone production. And we've also had Todd Fisher in, who's his mother is what's her name? Debbie Reynolds. That's right. His mother was Debbie Reynolds, and his sister was Carrie Fisher, who you may know as Princess Leia. He was a great resource to have come in, because he knows so much about movie history, and he has his own production company that does all sorts of different productions. When we were at, so he had come in and he was actually lucky. We were lucky enough to have him invite us to his home where he has a museum with all of his mother's and his sister's memorabilia and all kinds of different old school cameras. We got to actually hand crank Charlie Chaplin's old hand crank camera, like Charlie Chaplin's camera. It was awesome. And yeah, I got to see Princess Leia's her on-screen phaser, and her scripts from the movies and everything. It was amazing. But we also got to see his production facility, which he has built into a diesel truck that he can take anywhere over the country. And he was showing us some of the things that he's done. And this one was a little bit dated, but he's doing some remastering work on a concert that he did live streams to IMAX theaters for. And it was a concert of a musician named Her. She did a big concert sometime in the pandemic at, I think it was SoFi Stadium, and or maybe not, but somewhere in LA. And he did the broadcast from that concert to IMAX theaters around the country, so that people can still be a part of her music and be a part of the concert and just all be, you know, kind of together during the pandemic. So like he has this amazing facility. We got to see his production switcher and all of the everything that he has. So that was just an awesome resource. So yeah, in that class, like I'm bringing in, you know, professionals of all kinds. But we're also doing, right? It's not just analyzing, but we're also doing. I say that because I just learned more about Bloom's taxonomy last week in one of my grad classes.
Sounds like a grad student.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not just analyzing, but also doing and experimenting. We are actually taking over the entirety of a production for a UNLV volleyball game. And the students are super excited about it. I'm really excited about it. We did this kind of as an experiment a couple of years ago where we took over the production of a Lady Rebels basketball game. And that wasn't for a class or anything, but now that I have this class and I have my crew of 13, we're doing it again, baby. So we're going to be going the day before during our class time to actually be hands-on with all the equipment. Then the next day, Thursday, we're going to be doing that game for us versus the Lobos, the New Mexico Lobos, and it's gonna be a great time because it's a true broadcast. And when I say that, it's like, yes, it's live streaming on the Mountain West Network. So anybody who's watching the Mountain West Network, October 16th, can watch that game. But it's also being broadcast on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network, the SSSEN. Rolls right off the tongue. But yeah, so it'll actually be on TV. So that's our local Fox affiliate, 5.2 for digital TV. And yeah, it's an actual broadcast as well as the live stream broadcast as well. So really, really excited to be doing this. And then more guest speakers. We have somebody from VGK, somebody from UFC coming, a entrepreneur who started his own company, who recently graduated from our program, and we're also going to be working with an acting class where the actors are going to be doing their scenes, and the students are going to be capturing their scenes from the different angles and doing a live switch, live cut, as if they're doing, or as if you're watching a play, right, on TV or something like that. So that's kind of the goal with that. But it's all about being able to do all of the things and see how these things are done, right, and the same way that we do it here with our our multiple cameras and with our microphones here and everything. It's scalability, right? There's small scale productions and there's larger scale productions, and that's one of the big things that I'm talking about in that class, is because this is a relatively small scale. We have 3 cameras, right, but still relatively small scale. Or you can have 4 cameras at the Cox Pavilion, which is a much larger venue, much different place, and that's what it's going to be for the volleyball game. So so that class has a lot of really cool things on the horizon. We're also working with the percussion studio, so I'm back working with those guys in percussion with this class, because they have a lot of live streaming that they do, and they just don't really have the know-how. They know how to play the instruments, they don't know how to stream it. Well, I know how to do both, so I'm working with them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, RT, thanks for spending time with us. Man, this is fascinating.
This was great, RT. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.